We have no idea what we're doing. This is our first time doing this, guys. So, deal with it.
Technically our second time.
Well, the first time didn't even really count because we couldn't even get the sound right, remember?
That's true.
So, but I think we got the sound right this time.
Yeah, so let's dive right in.
So anyway, welcome to the Gene Pool Variety Hour, guys. I'm Sean.
And I'm Connor.
So anyway, I am the father, and he is
the younger and more artistic, meticulous son.
So yeah, this is a father and son thing, and we are both ADHD as the day is long. So we chase a lot of chickens. That's why we have a chicken for a mascot.
And my Chase is kind of creeping on the screen.
So that's Chase the chicken, because we chase a lot of chickens. So anyway, just join us. We talk anything kind of geek culture. We play games. We review random movies. And what else do we do?
We be our dorky, nerdy, random selves.
Yeah,
that's basically it.
So we started this like 3 years ago, and we ended up
years ago.
We ended up taking time off because he moved away for a while and came back.
Yeah.
So a little background on us for new people. We, like I said, father-son. I'm a psychologist.
Can you see the striking resemblance?
We both have ADHD as the day is long. Connor's also Asperger's. And so we are both pretty clueless and don't really know what we're doing. We both enjoy geek culture and talk about anything that comes across. So we usually do, for people who have never come and seen this before, we review random movies. So we pick a random movie every episode and review that. We have a geek question that we do every time, and that's Connor's domain. He comes up with a geek question every time, and then we just kind of chat whatever geeky stuff comes along. So that's who we are. That's what we do. And so hope you guys will hang out and give us a chance. So anyway, this is actually episode 22. So we try to do one every other week, and that nearly never happens because we're both ADHD. But we try to do every other week.
It's been happening on a more consistent schedule as of late. So that's
it's
a good
been
thing.
every 2 weeks ish.
I say it's okay.
So the reality is, though, that my life keeps me pretty busy. My real time work, I work for the military. So, welcome to the fake brick wall and the shipping container thing that we got going on here. So,
no broadcasting from an undisclosed location.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing, guys. So, just bear with us. But so I'm usually pretty busy, and though for the last 4 weeks, has it been 4 weeks, a month now already? I've been teleworking because I'm not supposed to be traveling down to the base because I live 50-something miles away. So I've been trying to do the psych doc thing via telework. So this has actually
because
been
of the virus.
This has actually been my teleworking office for a month with the chicken and the Tetris lamp, which we have turned off because it's kind of bright.
It's our production studio /
that's his stuff.
office.
That's not my stuff. So.
Oh yes.
So anyway,
Uzumaki Funko Pop. Konnichiwa.
So
arigato. Otaku. Baka.
I am the Abbott to his Costello.
Yes,
okay?
he is.
I'm generally the straight man to the funny man because he just goes and he doesn't stop. So.
Oh yes, honey.
He does that every single time.
Because it is funny, and I can't resist it. It's a consistent good joke, Dad. You know it is.
So anyway, so where do we want to start today?
Let's see. Where do we want to start today? How about have you been doing any new stuff?
Oh God, did you have to bring that up?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. I've been teleworking, so I've been working from home.
I'm not talking about that, Dad.
No. I am going to other stuff. I'm going to that story out there in the backyard. So, my wife Kelly has. Oh, that's definitely a story. My wife Kelly has been wanting
an epic tale.
A water feature in the backyard forever, and we've just never gotten around to it. And then last September, my middle son, who's 21. He's 24. Got a hair up his butt to dig the pit to start the water reservoir for the pondless water feature, or the small pond water feature that my wife thought she wanted. And it was like 6 foot by 8 foot by 3.5 feet deep. It was a big pit. And it sat there for a while because we told him, okay, look, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this. And he dug the pit, bought all the stuff, and did nothing.
Yeah.
Moved on. So this pit has been sitting in my backyard right outside our kitchen window since September of last year. We finally decided a few weeks ago that we were going to fix it. We were going to do something with it.
Yeah.
But we didn't want that hole the way he had it dug. My wife, Kelly, decided that she wanted to do a different type of system. So I took the pile of dirt from the hole that he had dug and took that dirt and put it partially back in the hole and redug that hole kind of in the same spot in different dimensions. Then my wife decided that she didn't think that we could handle, with our lack of expertise,
Something that big.
a project like that the way it was set up, and she found another system that was a lot more self-contained, should be easier to do, but the hole needed to be different dimensions. So I dug a third hole and got ready for it. Then she decided she didn't want to do that. Let's simplify. Let's just dig a big water reservoir, and let's kind of build a rock pile kind of thing and create a water and have a water pump in the water reservoir pumping up through the rocks and create a waterfall that goes right back into the reservoir. Just basically a redundant system here. Super easy, a lot easier to do. So then but she didn't want it where we had the other 3 holes dug. So I had to dig a 4th hole in. Sorry, I'm just slapping Connor. I had to dig a 4th hole in a different spot. Got that done. Got the liner in. Got the rocks. Luke, my other son, and I went down to the lake and got 3 truckloads of huge river lake rocks that were just piled up somewhere, and started building and building. And you're supposed to, the experts always say, just foam it in, foam in the cracks so that you seal it up. And I did that, and I had leaks that I couldn't find. So yesterday, what's the look on your face? You look,
What's look?
Zombied out, man. Woo!
It's the pills, man.
It must be. So anyway, so I had to take it completely apart yesterday.
They're prescription, by the way.
And
they are prescription.
And rebuild it all over again.
Yeah.
So
it was.
I really have felt like Cool Hand Luke, or a prisoner in a prisoner concentration camp. It's like, dig that hole, now dig that hole over there, and take the dirt from that hole and put it in that hole. And then take the dirt from that hole and put it in that hole. Now let's dig another hole. Oh, and now we're going to dig a 4th hole. Okay, now that you're done with digging the holes, let's go get a bunch of rocks and let's put them in a pile. Okay, now let's break that pile completely down and rebuild it in the same spot.
Yeah.
But different. I'm not done yet.
Oh,
hopefully it'll be done tomorrow. I found a last couple, because I ended up doing a liner instead of using foam to fill in the cracks. That worked a whole lot better. But there's just been a couple places where the water hits the liner and spews out the side. I'm just got to patch those up. And so that'll be done tomorrow, and it'll be done. But that's what I've been doing in addition to teleworking. Kind of going mad with rocks and dirt and water.
You've also been streaming too, right?
I've been doing some streaming. Oh, yeah, I started doing some streaming. If we want to get into the geeky stuff.
Yeah, geeky stuff.
Yeah, so we are...
That's creative stuff.
Yeah, so
we're on outdoorsy stuff.
We're on a Discord.
No geeks are outdoorsy.
Done?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. So we're on a Discord chat with...
but on another note... I'm kidding.
With a bunch of other podcasters, folks that we met last year at Dragon Con, and we just got to be good friends with them. And we got to talk about gaming the other day, and Skyrim and all the fun things to do in Skyrim and how much I love it, and all the mods that I had in there. And so we got
over 50 mods.
So it all got us kind of in the mood. Hey, let's play Skyrim. And I said, hey, I'll play Skyrim, and I'll stream it, and I'll kind of do whatever kind of character you guys want me to do. I had told them about the unarmed build that I'd done before, where I could punch dragons to death, and they thought that was kind of fascinating. So But what they want me to do is they want me to play a character that is an evil vampire that only attacks with a knife and a fork.
He's where he will literally be eating people.
Oh, and they want me to enchant the utensils with like fire damage so that I'm actually cooking my victims so that I can have them done so I can eat them when I'm done killing them. It's part of the joke. Now, that's going to take a while to build because, one, you got to contract vampirism, and that takes a little while to get to that part in the game where you can do that. And then the other thing is to find a knife and a fork that you can actually use as weapons and wield them. There's only 2 sets in the entire game. I've done research. There's only 2 sets in the entire game. Now, one is in the Throw of the World, and it's on a side path somewhere. But I haven't gotten to that part of the mountain yet.
Yeah.
And the other one is if you buy the house in Riften and furnish it out, there'll be one in there. So I'm getting there. And of course, since you're doing, and I started out unarmed damage because I like doing the unarmed damage thing and just punching people. Because I got some mods that allows me to do like back suplexes and head slams and this kind of stuff. So it's always good to play a Khajiit character because
they have claws.
Because they have claws, and they actually
claws.
They actually do more damage with their fists at the beginning of the game than a weapon, than like a 2-handed weapon.
Really?
Yeah.
That I did not know.
And then there's ways to boost all that up, and you really kind of just punch everything to death as you go through the game. So I'm doing that with my Khajiit, and so my Khajiit's character's name is Punchy Pussyfoot. So
he could have made so many other better names.
I could have, but I like
Punchy Pussyfoot.
I like the alliteration of the P and the P.
There's
like Marvel.
Still better
Peter Parker
words than Punchy Pussyfoot.
Still, that's what I came up with. So deal with it. So that's what I've been doing lately. Of course, doing some
Shane the Shredder.
Yeah, but that's not punching. I wanted something with punchy.
But he's not punching. He's not punching. He's shredding people with his claws.
But anyway, I could have done that.
Soon you'll be shredding people with your fork and knife.
So that's his name. Deal with it. I can't change it now. It's all done. So you want to make your Slade Slasher, whatever you want to call it. Make your own. Stream your own. It's fine. So see what I have to deal with? He's biting my fingers as I'm trying to talk to him. For people that are watching,
I don't like fingers in my face.
There are none yet. So just so you know. But anyway, so that's kind of what I've been doing lately. I've been doing a little bit of Borderlands, catching up on some of the DLC stuff.
Trying to catch up to me.
Oh, anyway. There's no way I'm going to catch up to you. There's absolutely no way I'm going to catch up to you. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. What have you been doing?
I've been getting really into painting miniatures.
Yeah, you have been. God, he's been sitting out on the back deck at our picnic table and has just been painting for days.
I love it. I mean, it calms me. It gives me some very good control, and I have an affinity for it.
And then okay, that's cool. That it gives you a sense of peace and calmness, and that's something that you need. It's almost like a mindfulness task. I do a lot of mindfulness work in my real work, and so mindfulness is a great thing to do. It's a great skill to learn. It's a way to just be present in the moment and be content and joyful in the moment that you're in, and kind of be free of your thoughts and not get so distracted. It actually helps you focus better over time as you do it.
You lost me.
See, I know. So I should teach you some. I'm doing some doctor. I kind of went psych doc on you.
I don't want any kind of mindfulness stuff. I just want to paint my minis.
But it can be a mindfulness task. I can teach you how it can be a mindfulness type exercise.
I'm perfectly mindful as it is, dude.
Okay, mindfulness.
Who's the most chill between the two of us?
Who's the most distracted between the two of us? Who had to be reminded 4 times to clean up his?
No.
You don't want to go there? Okay, fine.
No.
So anyway, this is my son. Okay, so not everything's on the table then. Got it.
Oh my gosh. But still,
metaphorically speaking,
still, between the two of us, who do you think is the more chill and less stressed?
Yeah, I get that, but the mindfulness can also help you focus and stay focused better, which is something you could use, right?
Okay.
You got to admit that, right? Right? Am I right?
If it's something I want you want to do, I can laser in on it and do it all day, which I have been doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway, all right. What else you been doing besides painting miniatures and working?
I've been helping Nikki look for a place for us.
Okay. Yeah, because he's moving in July. So as soon
and I've also been looking for jobs too.
Yeah, so we're just now figuring out how to do this whole streaming the podcast thing.
And then I'm gone.
And in 2 months, we got to revamp the whole thing because we're going to have 2 screens, just like Steven and Smashy do. We got to figure out. I got to start picking their brain how they do that with 2 different screens on the screen at the same time. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Of course, it took me forever just to get the sound right with all this because it's kind of all Greek to me. But anyway, so
it's gonna be a crazy happenstance.
So my youngest son graduates high school. Well, I mean, technical graduation's in a couple of weeks, but they're
with the virus.
Well, yeah, due to the Rona, they've called off the commencement exercises, and they're going to do a virtual one in June.
Non-ghost.
They're going to do a virtual one in June, and then they're going to do the real one in July. So July 24th in Georgia, they're going to have cap and gown full-on commencement exercises
in the
outside.
Morning. In the morning.
Well, we hope. We don't know that yet.
True. And then
the next day, we drive to Ohio and move this dude to Ohio. Yeah. So
with my lovely, awesome fiance.
So in 2 days, I have within a 48-hour period. Actually, within 48-hour period, I have my last kid out of high school and my first kid out of my house. And it's like they're dropping like flies. I can't wait. Just ready to go.
Oh man.
So okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's been going on that I don't have anything major going on except for
I don't either.
Just work. I will tell you that it has been an absolute.
Going to be the move, you know.
What's that?
That's the most major thing that's going to happen eventually is the move.
Yeah, for you, yeah.
I mean, it's a giant step.
It is a huge step, man. I mean, look, when I moved off, the first time I moved off to college.
Yeah.
And I had a roommate, and that's kind of okay, whatever. Yeah. And you're going to school. You're still a student. You still are mom and dad's. You're still going home. They're still helping pay for school or whatever if you're lucky to have that, which I did. Thank you, mom and dad. But I didn't really move off into my adult life until I had graduated high school and then married your mom.
Yeah.
You know, we got married and...
Graduated high school?
College, sorry.
I was about to say.
Got married young. Although I was 22. It was right out of college. Still. So, we got married and moved to Chicago the same day.
I know.
Yep, got married in the morning, did like a brunch, early wedding, and then got in the car and literally drove to Chicago. And then it's first night there, and then the next day... because we were moved into a brand new condo that was there.
Yeah.
And I spent the entire next day, our first full day of being married, putting up blinds in the entire condo while your mom packed us up to go on our cruise for a honeymoon. So we got married at Callaway Gardens in Georgia. We drove to Chicago. We packed. And then the next day we got on the plane and went back down to Miami to the cruise. In 48 hours. So we went from Georgia to Illinois to Florida to the Bahamas in 48 hours.
So wait,
So you know what our first night of our honeymoon was like?
Wouldn't it have made more sense to just because I'm assuming you and mom already had the place locked down, right?
Yeah.
Right, so then wouldn't it have made more sense to just go down to Miami, stay for a night, and then go out? But I mean, why do all that extra work and spend all that money on gas?
Because all of our furniture, everything had been moved into our place in Chicago. We had nothing. We had our car and the clothes that we were wearing to drive to Chicago. That's all we had. Literally everything else. Because, dude, I had a 1984 Pontiac Fiero. It's a 2-seater car. Okay, we didn't, and with a trunk about a foot deep. It was a teeny car, and we couldn't stop because the alternator was messed up. So if we turned the car off, we were afraid it wouldn't crank back up. So we got the car cranked after our reception.
What the heck is with this story?
We drove to Chicago and never turned the car off till we got there. So we weren't sure if it would crank back.
The entire night?
No. Once we got there, we turned it off because we knew that we could get a taxi to the airport if we needed to. But for the 13-hour drive, we never turned it off. We took turns going to the restroom and everything because we couldn't take the chance of turning the car off because it might not crank back up. So anyway, all right.
What the
so
heck, man?
We probably should move on. We've been doing this for a little while. So what do you want to do first? You want to do the geek question? Do you want to do?
I say we do the geek question.
All right, let's do the geek question. So the geek question of the day is, I don't have a sound effect for that one. I keep forgetting the sound effects that I got over here.
So let's see. Our geek question this week is, as a gamer, what has been the most creative and unique game you've ever played?
Okay. I'll need to think about that a little bit. So I'm sure you've already got an answer. I mean, I know what part of my answer is, but there's two ways to answer that question. So,
for me, the most creative game that I've ever played, and the most unique one too, is Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, that's a pretty wild game.
I've never seen an animated equal, a story equal, and just the creativity of what happens in the game. And literally, you're fighting mutants that were created by energy drinks, and this corporation basically shuts down the entire town, and you are playing this basically fourth wall breaking PC who makes weapons out of basically anything to attack all these crazy creatures. And the animations are awesome. The weapons are nuts. There's a gun that literally fires exploding teddy bears. That won me over right there. And then just I love the game. It for some reason it gets a bad rap, and for some reason not a lot of people don't like it. But I friggin' love this game. I played through it at least 4 times. I've played through all the DLC even more. I love this game to death.
Okay. So anything else? I'm sorry, I'm typing something, so you can keep talking while I'm typing.
So the thing that I love most about Sunset Overdrive is the way they kind of make fun of other video games in a way, like the PC is always making comments about quest icons or breaking the fourth wall and talking directly to you, the player. They're making fun of side quests, songs, and it's basically a game that makes fun of other games, but it's so entertaining it just grabs you. I mean, the way the combat works and how you're constantly moving and switching and flying all around on rails, power lines, all kinds of stuff, and performing combos. It's like so much is happening much at the same time.
Yeah,
it's like something that grabs you and you dive into the game fully. It's
right.
It's mind-boggling, and I love it to death.
Well, look, and I never finished the game. I bought
handle it.
No, listen. Whatever. I bought the game because I wanted it, and it looked super cool, and I thought I was going to love the game.
You didn't buy the game. I bought the game.
I thought I bought it. Well, I got it on Game. I got it on Game Pass now.
I pre-ordered it.
Yeah, you did. And I think because you pre-ordered, I chose not to buy it because we had the same one Xbox at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to really love it. And the thing that took the fun out of it for me, yes, it was a very weird game. It was very creative, and it's a shame that they didn't try to follow it with another one. I think Insomniac Games is working exclusively with Sony now, so there's probably going to be Sunset Overdrive stuff over there. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't like, and this is part of what I don't like so much about the game I'm going to talk about, but I don't like all the having to build the weapons. I got to get this, and I got to get this, and I got to combine these things. I didn't like that so much. And so
you do realize half the games you play have that mechanic, right?
Yeah, but that one for some reason just did not grab. No, I mean, okay. Now
what about Skyrim?
That's what I'm going to talk about. But it's
No
about
Man, No Sky.
Yeah, now that one, and that's another reason why I am not wholly into that game yet, because there's all that going on. I mean, yes, I love the fact that I can go to different planets and check out new things. That's really cool. But the thing that keeps this probably going to keep me from ever really
getting into the game,
getting fully into that game, is the constant resource management.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a lot of resource management in Skyrim, but you don't have to. You can you don't have to make weapons. You can, and if you really want to excel in the game, you need to do the crafting, yes. But you don't have to have a weapon. You can pick up a sword anywhere.
True.
Right?
You don't crappy sword.
Well, no. I mean, you can get some magic swords, right? You can get some decent magic swords that are in the game. You don't have to make them. Now,
True.
You can customize the weapons exactly the way you want, just like I was talking about with the unarmed combat stuff a while ago, by doing all of that, but you don't have to.
I guess.
And so, and plus, so that took the fun out, and I didn't give it the chance. I didn't give it the chance that I should have. You're right. I didn't. And I should, and I would like to. It would be fun to play with friends, I think.
Yeah.
The old Mayhem thing or whatever it's called. But by the time I decided to give it a shot, all my friends had played it, finished it, and moved on.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is a very creative game. I will agree with that.
So you said there were a couple things you didn't like about it, and first was resource management. What else was it?
No, I think that was the only thing. I don't think
Sure?
if I said a couple of things, I didn't mean to say a couple of things. That was the thing that took the joy out for me from playing that game.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean it was funny. And it was the actual gameplay mechanic was good. I just didn't like the having to make your weapons. Find your weapons.
Wait! You don't even have to make your weapons. You buy the weapons as you unlock them.
Right, but you have to get the resources to be able to unlock them. There was a resource management part to it.
There was the ingredient into finding for amps to give you cooler and more crazy combos. Yes, but then but even then you could buy maps to help you find those things. And then at that point it's basically just about clearing the map.
Okay.
And I love clearing maps. My favorite thing to do in Assassin's Creed is clear maps.
Yeah.
I love Assassin's Creed, and I am so excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Finally, we're gonna have Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, and now Norse mythology. My 3 favorites.
Cool.
Oh.
Yeah, it does look interesting. And I'll
freaking Leif Erikson.
Huh?
Come on.
What?
We play Leif Erikson.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that. So anyway, I'm trying not to sneeze over here, and I need to go get something to drink. But okay, so completely sidetracked here. I'm sitting here listening to Connor, and I look over on my Discord chat screen at one of the other Discords of some of my Xbox buddies, and they put up a screenshot of a TV screen with a news headline on it. And Steven and Smashy, if you guys are ever listening to this, we need to hunt down this article for you, because the headline says "Man shot after throwing shoe at roach." I really want to know what the story is. A man shot after throwing a shoe at a roach. And my friend of mine says, "Roaches in Detroit don't F around, man."
Oh my freaking gosh! I mean. There's something not said about that story.
There's something weird there. So anyway, yeah, I need to investigate that story. So that was definitely a chicken. What? Hand you what? The chicken?
No, the rag.
Oh, the rag. Sorry. So we're sitting here helping each other, and he's blowing his nose. So okay. So I've got my game that I need to talk about. Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
The most creative and unique game you've ever played.
Okay. Well, see, and I had a hard time in terms of just creative and unique, because I don't have a good memory. I have a good recognition memory. I don't have good recall. Meaning, if someone mentions a game that's really creative, and go, "Oh yeah, that was great," and I can talk about it. But to pull it out of this old brain of mine on its own, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you're getting old. Oh God, starting to get that dementia.
So anyway, yeah, really. So in terms of creative and unique, I would say that Hellblade was interesting.
Hellblade, what?
Yeah,
because
it
wasn't that the game where there's like no dialogue, like it's have like the voices in your head?
Well, there was dialogue, but it was mostly voices, and it was really kind of an interesting portrayal of mental health issues, and maybe some psychosis. And that was a really neat concept. I didn't finish the game because the gameplay got it got to me, and friends of mine were talking about it the other day, because I have a couple of friends that absolutely loved it, and me and this other guy were like, every mission was pretty much the exact same thing. Go do this. So it got kind of repetitive in terms of gameplay, but the storyline was great, but I just couldn't get past the gameplay aspects in order to...
I couldn't get into it. It seems too. It made me too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's just I'm very squeamish, believe it or not, and I don't like horror or demented kind of games like that. It's why I will never play Five Nights at Freddy or Slenderman or any game of the like.
Yeah, I'm not a horror movie game. Horror game fan either.
It made me feel really uncomfortable, the voices and the way your arms became more and more blackened the more you died.
Right.
It scared me. I'm just gonna say it outright. It scared me.
I get that. So I'm trying to think if there's some other ones. I mean, I thought Alien versus Predator on the Jaguar was pretty interesting and pretty
because there was basically only a couple sound effects.
It was just the sound effects of the abandoned space station, and then the screaming alien behind you in your ear. That was one of the scariest things I ever experienced playing games. Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar, and then on the new one, and then on the Xbox, arcade. Space Giraffe. These are all
what?
They're all Jeff Minter games. If you don't know Jeff Minter, you're not going to understand. But
I don't understand.
Okay. He is an independent video game designer. I've known him since the Jaguar days, although he'd been around in the earlier Atari days.
Known him or known of him?
I met him at the CES in Chicago several years ago. He's this British dude, British hippie dude, long straight hair. He raises sheep and llama. I think llama, but definitely sheep. And he has his favorite pet, and she may be dead now because it's been several years. His favorite pet was Flossie, his sheep. He had a special affinity for sheep. I don't know why. It was just Jeff. And all of his games are super trippy with really super trippy visuals and stuff. And I always loved...
Define trippy.
Well, I'll show you the game when we go inside. It's super trippy. The graphics.
I don't know what that means.
Colors flashing everywhere and like neon bulls and llamas flashing on the screen.
Seriously?
I'm not kidding.
Bulls and llamas.
And like techno music. And so do you know what the game Tempest is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so little lesson here. Tempest was an old arcade game from back in the 80s when I was a kid and would go to arcades. And it was just wireframe graphics, and you had these things called webs, which are these different geometric shapes, but they were three-dimensional. They kind of went into the screen. And your character spun around on the outside of the web, and the enemies kind of creeped their way up the web, and you had to rotate it. The controller was actually a dial and the fire button, and you scrolled around the web and shot them. But it was just basic. Well, he took that game and turned it into a complete LSD trip. I mean, it's like you're playing Tempest on acid. Not kidding. Just wait till I show you.
Okay.
I'll and so your word it was, and I always loved Tempest. And Tempest 2000 on the Jaguar was the first time I think I ever really experienced what they call flow in playing a game, where it's like you just feel kind of connected to the game and you just kind of zone out and you don't really know what you're doing with the controller. You just automatically do what needs to be done because your eyes are connected to your fingers without thinking. And you kind of get like that. And that was the first game I ever experienced like that. It's just kind of weird and interesting. But so in terms of trippy and creative and unusual, that I guess I would talk about some of those. But if you look at the question from another perspective of in what game can you be the most creative and interesting and original? I mean, dude, that's the Elder Scrolls series, bar none.
Yeah.
Bar none. Whether you're talking about Morrowind, whether you're talking about Oblivion, which was kind of a little bit different in the middle between it and Skyrim. But those games, and they're known for being able to pretty much do anything. They're also known for all their glitches and all this kind of stuff because there's so much you can do that's so easy to mess up the game. So, like in Morrowind, I think I've talked about it before, where I killed an entire town and I made the entire town my house. And
then didn't you say something about Aladdin pants?
Oh yeah, because in Morrowind you could enchant anything. So you can enchant your hat, your pants, your shirt. You can enchant anything. So I enchanted a pair of pants with levitation. And so I could
that's the thing.
Yeah, and so I would literally just
Why would they keep it in Skyrim?
I would walk, and then I would look up, and so I would just walk up into the air. And so then I was walking, but I was just walking in the air. So I'd walk about 20 feet up in the air to avoid any enemies or anything when I wanted to go somewhere, because there wasn't the fast travel like there is in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And so I would just walk up in the air, and I would just walk over the land to exactly where I wanted to go. And the big tower, the big pyramid, Canton is what they called it in Vivek, which is what I made my house.
Yeah.
I stole lamps and candles and stuff all through the game.
And you basically made yourself a runway?
And I made myself a runway. You could see it at night. You could see it halfway across the map. I could see the lights twinkling and see the direction I needed to go. And I would just basically, put in my flight pattern and fly into my house.
Yeah, that is true.
So, and I made a tower. I stole pillows. And you could place the pillows specifically, so I placed the pillows and literally made kind of like a stairway to heaven with pillows. And I walked all the way up the stairs to where I couldn't even see the map anymore. And then
how did the game even generate that many pillows though?
And then jumped off. So, you could do so many different things, and I don't remember as much of it as I used to. But Skyrim is the same way, and with Skyrim they added the ability to put mods in. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. I mean, I have a custom house. You can fly dragons. You can
already fly dragons.
But no, I think you can actually fly them, not just kind of fly in a circle. You can actually fly them, I think. So anyway,
that is pretty cool.
So in terms of being able to be creative and basically create your own game, I mean, I could. How many times have I played Skyrim all the way through? 4 or 5 at least, and when you finish all the storylines, you can make your own. You just make your own. It's like I collect books. That's something that I always do. And every book that I see, I collect. And I get all the first editions. I get all the books that I can find. I'll sell the duplicates. But then, of course, I'll create a house. Whoops, sorry about that. I'll create a house that is nothing but bookshelves. And it'll be my personal library. So I'll have my house. And if I want to go look at my books, I'll go to my other house, which is my personal library. I mean, just do whatever, Yeah. So I would say,
I also really love Skyrim. It's just, I mean, and I've always played the games in sort of the same way.
Yeah.
There's one thing I've never liked doing. I've never liked being a vampire.
All right.
Yeah, but there's something I've always loved doing.
Yeah.
Is turning my Khajiit into a werewolf because then literally I'm cat dog. Cat dog.
Okay.
Cat dog.
Okay, there's a chicken. So anyway,
I love that show. Girl.
All right. So that's where I'm at on the whole creative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are some games that I can think of that were really super creative and weird and this kind of stuff.
But now I've got a follow-up question.
Okay.
In your opinion, what's the most iconic game? A game.
What does that mean?
A game that will always be remembered.
Dude, there's so many of them.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know, Sonic, Link, Legend of Zelda, Halo.
Yeah.
Was it Heart of Darkness? There was one game on the GameCube. Was it the GameCube? And that was another one that was supposed to be really original. We never played it because we didn't have it. But
we did have a GameCube, didn't we?
Yeah, but we didn't have that game. I think it was called maybe not Heart of Darkness. Perfect Dark or no, I can't remember what it was. So if you guys are listening to this, let me know what it is because I can't remember. But the game would look like the whole system was resetting, like the game crashed.
Yeah,
and it was the game. Because it was kind of testing your sanity. In the game, your character was kind of like, "Are you crazy or not?"
Yeah.
And it kind of made you feel kind of crazy because you thought your game was crashing when it wasn't. It was just part of the game. Anyway. So that was kind of creative. But what was the question? The follow-up question. I'm sorry. I'm old.
In your opinion, what is the most iconic game? A game that will always be remembered.
Well, okay. Nintendo, I would say Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, kind of those. Okay. Sony, I would say. Well, Sega, I'd say Sonic.
Sega doesn't really have a lot of games though.
Well, but they used to have. It used to be Sony, Sega, Nintendo.
True.
Because they had their own system. See, this is before your time, and so but, Sonic was their Mario.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
No, this I know.
Iconic.
But they literally just focused on Sonic and never made anything else.
No, they made a bunch of other stuff. They did. As far as Sony, because I had
Nintendo is kind of getting into the same timeline. You know, they're not really creating any new games. They're just recreating and revamping old stuff. You know.
Yeah. Well. Okay. I don't know where you were going with that, but
sorry.
Sony, I had a PlayStation, but I'm trying to think what would have been considered an iconic game on the PlayStation. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. I'm sure my Sony friends would say it. Xbox Halo, Master Chief. That's clearly the one for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need a drink, man. I really need a drink. Like something to drink. So I'm gonna go
drink or like water.
Oh no! If I'm going to sit here and I'm going to get a drink, I'm going to get a drink.
Oh my gosh!
So anyway,
Dad, I love you.
Okay, so before we do, and why don't we go ahead and I'll let you kind of talk. You can kind of
answer my own question.
Yeah, you answer your own question. What do you say is iconic? I'm going to get a drink. Be right back.
Okay. Oh, I finally have you all to myself, my loyal followers. So in my opinion, Nintendo, yes, they've got some very, very good popular games. Mario, Link with Zelda and everything. But in my opinion, guys, the most iconic video game will always be Pokemon. Pokemon is for OGs. Pokemon has grown and grown and grown and become more and more unique and more powerful with every single game that has ever come out. I feel like Pokemon is a game series and game in general that will really never die in a way because they have so many games for this, so many games, movies, TV shows, all this stuff for this one series. And so, for my opinion, it's Pokemon, and I, for one, love Pokemon to death. I will always love Pokemon. On my deathbed, I went to catch Mew for the first time.
I think I got Mew one time. Contents may
Pokemon Go does not count.
Contents may contain arcane powder, so be careful.
Pokemon Go does not count.
I'm developing a tolerance. What?
Pokemon Go does not count. It does not count.
Okay, anyway. All right.
Blasphemy.
So are we done? Are we done with the whole Geek Question thing now?
Yes.
Are we done? Okay, so what are we ready for the movie?
Yes, we're ready for the movie.
All right, so now we're ready for the next segment of...
Roll for credits.
There you go. I think it's playing. There you go.
All right.
A little bit of delay on our sound effects. Yes, I don't have a stream deck.
Let's get
rolling. All right, so... For this segment of Roll for Credits, we watched...
Keanu Reeves' Siberia.
So we watched the 2018 movie Siberia, starring Keanu Reeves.
Oh
and,
gosh.
Everybody loves him some Keanu Reeves. But I got to tell you...
Why?
When I pulled it up, when we chose this last week, and I was looking at the Metacritic, and the average score was like 3 point something or 4 point something. I'm like, what? I'm like, how can that be? And then we watched it, and then I knew why.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here's the thing. So I want to read you just the tagline for the movie. The tagline is: when an American diamond trader's Russian partner goes missing, he journeys to Siberia in search for him, but instead begins a love affair. Okay. So Keanu Reeves is this diamond trader. Okay, he gets diamonds from people and sells it to other people, and it's probably pretty illegal what he's doing. And he's got a partner in Russia, and he's got this diamond trade deal happening in Russia. And the guy all of a sudden comes up missing, and so he goes to Siberia. Piotr. He goes to Russia to try to find him because
names.
there's like 12 solid blue diamonds. And
like sky blue.
I'm just saying Peter. I'm not going to say Piotr.
Piotr.
Okay, that.
It's simple. Piotr.
So Peter. I'm old and I'm American. I'm saying Peter. I'm sorry.
Piotr. I mean, it's not hard to say.
No, if I try to say it, it'll sound like I'm saying Peter.
That's basically what they're saying. Piotr.
Okay. I'm tired of talking about Piotr's name and how to pronounce Piotr. I'm calling him Peter. You call him whatever you want to.
Fine.
So
you're wrong though.
Well, I know I'm wrong. I'm not denying that. But he had dealt with somebody, and they were able to find a way to make almost perfect replicas of these diamonds, and I had a hard time kind of understanding what was going on with all that. But
replicas as in fakes.
The story is Keanu's character goes to Russia to look for his partner because they got this deal going down. And when he gets there to the hotel that they normally stay at, the lady says, "Oh, he's not here anymore. He left." He said, "Meet him at this little this little bed and breakfast kind of place in Milny or whatever, Milny or whatever, a Russian town."
It's not Thor's hammer.
Okay.
It sounded like you said Mjolnir.
All right, Mr. Aspie, do we have to get stuck on how to pronounce every word? Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Let's just move on
about this stuff. I'm sorry.
So, anyway, he goes to try to find Piotr.
Thank you.
I don't know if I said that right, but anyway, and stays at this little bed and breakfast, and he's looking for the guy, and he gets his room, Piotr's room, and he goes to a diner, and the lady that's working at the diner, they end up developing this love affair.
It's a diner/bar kind of thing.
Yeah, and then he ends up starting this love affair with this young woman.
Yeah.
And that kind of progresses through the movie as he's trying to work on this deal.
It becomes kind of demented and...
we'll get into the whole depravity of it after a while. But bad. So anyway, I'm trying to find my notes. But, I can't find them. So the whole thing is him trying to find Piotr. Piotr. So, anyway, he's
ignoring the crap out
trying to find his buddy, his partner, and he's trying to find him to get the diamonds because he's got this deal going on, and this guy's a
$50 million deal.
It's a $50 million diamond deal, and the guy is a pretty, like Russian mob scuzz, not somebody you want to piss off. And so
not a comrade.
What?
No, not a comrade.
Yeah, whatever. So
sorry.
So the whole movie is him trying to figure that out and find the diamonds and find Peter, and this love affair, this highly sexualized love affair is happening throughout the movie
with Katya.
And
love that name.
Her brothers get involved because they're trying to protect her. And then he gets them roped into helping him because the bad guys are after him. And supposedly the FSB have been watching him. That's like their Russian FBI, I guess. And they get him and say, okay, we need you to sell that bad guy, Boris, or whatever his name was. You need to sell him the fake diamonds, and we're going to keep the real diamonds. And we'll let you go home. In other words, they're just being sneaky and they're keeping all the money.
Through all of this, Lucas Hill, that's Keanu Reeves' character, somehow found the fake diamonds that Piotr had sold to this other big Russian gang boss. I think his name was Smirnov or something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, so he this what ends up happening is his decisions throughout the movie about how he would normally have handled this whole situation start to change because of the feelings he's developing for this girl. He's starting to make decisions with her in mind.
He's married, by the way.
Yeah, he's actually married to Molly Ringwald. Plays his wife.
Molly Ringwald?
That was Molly Ringwald. Yes, that was Pretty in Pink. That was Pretty in Pink. Breakfast Club. Molly Ringwald. Yes. You couldn't tell?
No, I couldn't.
Well, she was only in like 2 scenes or 3 scenes, and one of them was on a computer screen because they were FaceTiming.
And she had at most like 4 lines.
Yeah, she was. She had a very small part.
Man, that.
But anyway,
I'm sorry, Molly. I am so sorry.
No, anyway, dude, she probably got paid. She got banked for a day's worth of work.
True.
You know,
that's probably true.
So that was the interesting part, was that, you know, Lucas would have handled the situation a whole lot differently if it had not been for Katya. Because he had to go back to St. Petersburg to deal with this deal. He left the town that he was in, where he met Katya, to go back to St. Petersburg to handle this deal. And he asked her to come stay with him, come to town with him. And then he had to go do this deal with, was it Boris? Was that his name?
Boris.
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 Yeah. So I had to go do that deal with him. And she said, "You want me to go with you?" And he's like, "No, this is not.
And
these are not good people.
Anyway.
These are not good people to go hang out with. So you stay here. Let me go do this. I'll be back by 10." He's like, "So she asked me to come to St. Petersburg and don't want me to go with you." So he leaves.
Then she comes
and
anyway.
She shows up, and as his girlfriend. Bad stuff happens, really bad stuff happens that I'll talk about later. No, we'll get to the problems later.
Bad.
We'll get to the problems later, and then more weird stuff happens after that.
Yeah, even more weird.
And then
eventually
he sells the fake diamonds to Boris, knowing that Boris is going to figure it out. So he goes back to the little town where Katya's at. He finds a cabin. He finally figures out where Peter's been staying. Piotr has been staying, and he goes there.
Piotr's brother Andre, Piotr's brother Andre contacts Lucas and tells him that he found out where his brother was. So Lucas goes to this cabin. And he brings Katya's brothers with him because he knows shit's about to go down and he may need some help. So then he goes and he finds Piotr in some kind of outhouse shed kind of thing, almost naked and dead. So that's why he's never been able to meet up with the guy. So then Katya's brother Ivan gives Lucas a gun, and then he goes into the house to kind of basically wait for the crap to hit the fan, and then Katya has one last goodbye with him, thinking he's going to be okay.
And then all of Boris's guys show up, and they get in this huge gunfight,
and the movie ends. It ends
abruptly. It ends kind of abruptly and kind of anticlimactically.
With should we tell them exactly how it ends, or just leave that to them?
No, well, I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, either I can or you can. I don't care.
It
because ends, I don't know that people really are going to want to watch this movie.
It ends with freaking Keanu Reeves getting shot in the back, and then with like a dolly zoom on his eye, and then it cuts to black.
Yeah, so you know, I knew he was going to get shot. I mean, because it was 5-on-1, and he had a hunting rifle, and they had a semi-automatic rifle.
Shots out.
He was getting good shots out, and he took most of them out. But
he is John Wick.
So, but then as he takes the 4th guy out, the 5th guy, who was the main henchman guy,
what was his name?
Shot
Pavel.
I don't know. Shot him in the back. And so, you know, you knew he was going to get shot, but it felt like one of those things where it was setting up for him to get shot and you think he's dead. But then you see him in Australia with Katya because backstory, you know, through this whole relationship, you know, he found out that she used to live in Australia with her sister and was a travel agent down there, and then came back home to run the bar and restaurant because her parents died. And so there was that history of living in Australia. They also had spent time talking about his relationship with his wife and how they were not happy, and they were just kind of basically like roommates. They were business partners and roommates. There was no emotion there or whatever. There was like no connection with them, really. And so you kind of, it felt like it was setting up for that kind of trope where he gets shot, you think he's dead, and then they survive. Huh?
I did not see the after credit scene.
No, there was no after credit scene.
There wasn't one.
No.
Then
I don't think so.
Then how do you know they ended up in Australia?
I didn't. I said the movie was kind of setting up to where it looks like that's what's going to happen.
My bad.
Listening is a skill. Try it sometime.
I was listening. The way you worded it made it very confusing.
So anyway, but no, it just ended abruptly with he got shot in the back, fell down, dead, and then the camera just zooms in on his open, dead eye. And then the screen goes black, and that's the end of the movie. It was really weird.
It was weird, confusing, and slow-paced, and very dark.
Well, now, here's my issue. I thought it was a great concept for a movie. I thought it could have been a really cool movie. Just the idea of him getting caught up in this whole stuff with the diamond salesman, the diamond sales, and the FSB, and the Russian mafia, and the South Africans were involved too. We didn't even talk about them, but they were kind of a smaller part. But they were trying to buy the diamonds as well. And this whole intrigue of who killed Piotr and what happened, all that stuff. It could have been a really good movie, but it wasn't. And I have several things that I would like to talk about why I didn't like it. So, what do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Let's see.
Just don't steal my thunder.
Every time you go first, you steal my thunder. All right.
So anyway,
so let's see. First off, the movie went a full 10 minutes before the opening credits were even done.
Oh my gosh! There was like this dramatic, suspenseful background music that just kept playing over and over and over and over again throughout the first 10 minutes of the movie. Yes, that was the first thing I wrote down that just drove me crazy.
And it's like, okay, we get it. It's suspenseful. It's a thriller. Just give us some actual story, and instead of milking the orchestra as much as it's worth,
Right.
Let's see. Next thing is we find out later in the movie, Piotr had hidden samples of the real diamonds and the fake diamonds inside of blue candlesticks, and then immediately after you hear blue diamond and you see a blue candlestick, kind of in a golden reddish, very fancy hotel room, you're like, okay, that's not supposed to be there, and it was like a full half an hour after we first saw that candle in both rooms, first in the fancy hotel, and then another one, an identical candle in the small bed and breakfast in Munich. It's like, okay, Lucas, you literally just called Piotr and said, I know you have some kind of clever way of hiding these diamonds, and then you see a blue candle in both rooms, and like a full day passes before you realize, oh wait, it's probably in the candle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're smarter than this, dude. You've made bank selling diamonds and all this. You're smarter than this. Come on.
Right. So, I didn't... how do I want to say this? The sex that was in the movie...
Oh, we're just getting right into this, aren't we?
Well,
jeez.
Because that was something that excuse me. It's beer. So...
Beer.
I get the reason why there was... the first couple of sex scenes, because there was an affair, and and it's their R-rated movie. They're going to show the sex scenes, and they actually didn't show any nudity until like the very last sex scene. It was pretty graphic sex scenes, but there was nothing shown. It was just a lot of movement.
I always never understand how these people can act so.
I know, it's kind of wild, isn't it?
And these people are and Keanu Reeves, I know, is at least married, right?
What's that? Yeah,
Keanu, it's just. It always baffles me, kind of makes me wonder, how can they film these scenes and not have it be like completely awkward the very next day, because like some of these scenes, they're full on bare, exposed the entire thing, and it's like, how do you go back from that and have to continue acting and see the person every single day after something?
Because it kind of just becomes a job,
I know that.
So anyway,
it still makes me wonder,
So I get. I mean, look, I'm not a big fan of sex scenes in movies, but I understand when sex scenes are put in movies within context of the storyline. And so I get the first one, maybe another one when they got together in St. Petersburg or whatever, right? But there was at least 4, maybe 5 sex scenes between the two of them.
4 or 5?
There was at least 4 or 5.
Let's see.
There was
the first one. There was the second one. And then are we counting the time when Boris had them?
No, that's separate. I'm going to talk about that separate. No, but then there was twice, and there's two back home, and then 2 in St. Petersburg at least. So there's at least 4, and it just got to be excessive because there was one in the car.
Oh yeah,
in the taxi or whatever.
In the car.
So it just got excessive.
There was also this one scene that made me feel really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I want to get to that one too. So,
man.
So anyway,
are we talking about the same one?
Probably. So it just got to where okay, the sex scenes and that much sex was not necessary for the context of the storyline and the plot. If you're because the sex, that stuff was not the central storyline of the movie. It was the deal and all that kind of stuff. This just added an extra layer of complexity to the main storyline. In a movie like, for example, Fatal Attraction, where the affair and everything that came from that affair was the storyline of the movie, I get it, because it had to establish just how carnal that relationship was that one weekend to establish the plot for the rest of the movie. So I get that, but for a movie like this, it was just gratuitous. It was just, you didn't need it, okay? And then some really weird stuff happened in those. So I think it may have been the last sex scene that they had. They were talking, and she was upset, and it was after the thing that happened at the bar that I'll tell you in a minute that was just completely wrong.
Yeah.
And they got talking about his wife, and she says, he asked, what do you want? And she says, I want you to F me. She says, I want you to F me like I'm your wife. And it showed them having in the sex scene
in full,
and that was the one scene where you saw some nudity, and she didn't force him, but she made him. She told him, she says, call me your wife's name, and when you're finishing, we'll leave it at that. Yell, scream out your wife's name. That was super weird, and I didn't understand.
That was when I was going to talk about.
And too. It didn't even make it didn't make sense. I didn't understand what the point was of that. So I didn't understand that at all.
Because in my opinion, when you're having an affair, you want to think about anyone else but the person you're cheating on.
So anyway, it was just that was disturbing.
Yeah.
But the most disturbing thing was there was straight out sexual assault in the movie.
Yeah.
And it was not good. So, for example, they went, I told you when he went to see Boris and talk about the deal, and he's in the bar or wherever, the clubhouse or wherever, and it's Boris and Lucas and all these prostitutes and all the henchmen and all that kind of stuff. And then she walks in, and then Katya comes in as his date.
Yeah.
And so as they're doing the deal,
some kind of brother bonding experience.
Yeah, and so there's always, I don't know if you guys have watched Arrow, the movie, the TV show Arrow, and there's this Russian guy that was former Russian mafia that was a friend of Oliver's, and they were blood brothers. They had done the blood brother thing, and that was a big part of the storyline in the TV show. Well, sorry, I'm doing multiple things here. So they decided that the Boris guy says, okay, we need to be blood brothers. But the way he decided that they were going to be blood brothers was that he was going to take his prostitute girlfriend, or whoever she was.
Are we talking about Katya?
No.
Okay.
Boris.
Okay.
And then Lucas was going to have to give Katya to Boris, and the two ladies were going to give oral homage to the other men. So Boris demanded that Katya give him oral homage while his girlfriend gave Lucas oral homage, and that they were supposed to stare at each other and look at each other the whole time it was happening. and finish together, and that would make them blood brothers. And so they were not going to do it. He felt extremely uncomfortable and was not going to do that.
Yeah.
But then Boris started talking to Katya and said, "You know what the Russian mafia is like. You know what can happen. Tell him to tell you to do it." And so she did reluctantly because she knew if she didn't, they were going to end up dead. So she was forced to give Boris oral homage. That's the best way.
I've never heard that term before.
That's the most polite way I can put it. And that just turned my stomach because
it made me too.
It was it was wrong. It was not necessary for the storyline in any way. It's not like it was. It's the movie. Oh God, the one with. Oh God, Jodie Foster. She won the Oscar for when she got raped in a bar, and she was under. She was poor and kind of white trash kind of character. I forgot what it's not Witness. I forgot what it was. Anyway, I mean that was a central part of the entire plot of the movie. So it was she kind of had. I mean, it had to be shown. So I get that. Again, I understand it when movies have to put them in there for the context of the storyline. This was completely unnecessary, and to me, it completely derailed my interest in the movie. Now, some people, it may not bother them at all, and I get that, but for me, because that's not kind of what I like to see in movies.
Yeah.
Well, not kind of. I don't like seeing that in movies.
No.
It kind of ruined the movie for me, and then at that point, we're close to the end of the movie, and then after that, right after that scene. Like within 5 minutes, they have another sex scene where she's having him call her
Gabby,
his wife's name, and it was just weird. So it could have been a great movie.
Yeah.
The storyline was interesting. The plot was interesting. The what they could have done with the movie was interesting. Throwing in all that weird stuff and the extent of the sexual stuff that they did kind of just ruined it for me.
The darkness and the depravity.
Yeah, and so I can kind of see why it got such bad reviews because it kind of lost track of the storyline with all that extra weird stuff that they put in there. And I don't understand that at all. But anyway, that's what they did. So, and for some reason, our chats. Oh, there we go. It popped up on the screen. So I was just wondering. I was kind of doing some testing here too because none of our friends are able to come into the chat tonight, and so I'm kind of doing some testing to see if it shows up. And so
it does show up.
So it just showed up on the screen. So okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna do that, and we'll go from there. So I would have to say that I am not a fan of this movie. If you really like Keanu Reeves, fine. He's not that great in the movie.
This may ruin Keanu Reeves for you guys. In my opinion.
Look, because in John Wick, he has no personality, right? But that's part of the character of John Wick. He's just this badass, almost assassin robot type machine guy, right? And in, for example, in The Matrix, he's kind of like that as well, but it's kind of this badass. I'm just so cool.
More personality though in The Matrix at least.
But it just made me realize that the movies that I like him the best in are movies where the character is not designed to have a huge personality. In movies where he's expected to have a huge personality, I don't really see him able to do it. I mean, in this one he could have shown much more. Oh God, I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there's been movies that I've seen him in.
Did you know he was in the recent SpongeBob movie?
Oh, I'm sure.
He was in the freaking SpongeBob movie recently, and I'm like, okay, did you just do this for fun, or are you desperate?
Yeah, well, dude, at this point, he's just doing stuff for money and fun, He builds motorcycles on the side. I mean, he's a cool dude, and he's a super nice, respectful, polite dude.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he is one of the good ones.
He's been known to make some bad ones, and this was definitely a bad one. Here's the thing that I thought was interesting, though. Now, let me see who this person is. The movie actually got nominated for some awards. So
what kind of awards would nominate this crap?
So for example, It got nominated for an award by the Alliance of Women Film Journalists in 2019. The award was the most egregious age difference between the leading man and the love interest. So apparently, the woman that played Katya was much younger than Keanu.
Well, in the movie, Lucas Hill was like 51 years old.
But see, here's something else. It got nominated for some other awards for Best Actor in a Principal or Supporting Role in a Feature Film aged 10 to 19 years for some kid named Nazaria Demkowitz. I don't remember a kid being in the movie. Do you remember a kid in the movie?
No.
That's weird.
What the
so,
heck?
Apparently, there was a kid that got put on the cutting room floor because I don't remember seeing him.
Weird.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So I got nothing else to say about that movie. Sorry. There's
I'm not gonna see it again.
No, and I wouldn't even really recommend it because it just wasn't good. I mean, I mentioned the scene with the two women and everything, and had a friend joke and says, "Wait a minute, you're talking about dueling blowjobs, and that's a bad thing?" And I'm like, well, "Yeah." So anyway, I can't in good conscience recommend this movie to anybody, whether you are okay with that stuff or not. Because otherwise, even despite the weird stuff, it just wasn't very good. So I wouldn't recommend that at all.
Before we roll for our next movie, before we roll
for the next movie, okay.
Have you ever heard of a movie called The Greasy Strangler?
No.
I've
had some pizza that are pretty greasy stranglers.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, that was a bad joke.
Apparently, it's a movie made by Elijah Wood, and
he's made some weird ones.
Yeah.
Horns,
huh?
Horns.
That was Elijah Woods.
Was that Elijah? No, that wasn't Elijah Woods. That was the Harry Potter kid.
No. Harry Potter kid. In this movie, I don't mean Elijah Woods is in it. He directs it. Yeah,
okay,
he
gotcha.
made the movie. And Nikki is gonna want me to watch it with her tomorrow. It's kind of like a movie date kind of thing. And I was wondering if you knew anything about it.
I know nothing about the Greasy Strangler.
See, she says it's a very interesting movie.
That sounds weird right there too. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I'm going to leave that alone. Just going to leave it alone and move on. So we need to roll for the next movie because we're running long. We need to go.
Were you gonna say it sounds like a porno?
No, I said it's better than the Greasy Choker. But anyway,
oh my gosh,
anyway.
What would that do? That's the same thing though. Yes, but the Greasy Strangler.
They get the reference.
I don't get the reference. So tell me what the reference. What is the reference, Dad? Tell me.
I will explain this visual later.
Choking
the air.
Oh, okay. I think I get it now.
You got it? Okay. I'll explain that later.
All right. Okay. So now.
See, even though at 24, he's got a little bit of innocence in him. So.
So
okay.
He thinks.
All right. So we need to roll. So.
All right. So let's see.
What are we going to see? What are we doing?
All right. So first is a D20 for lie or ho.
For liar ho?
High or low?
So we're going to watch another movie about a lot of sex with a liar ho?
For a high or low? Oh my gosh.
Liar ho? It's going to be my next gamer tag.
Okay, 8. So 8 means Amazon.
That'd be Amazon.
All right. And then we roll a D10 for the genre. And we have a 9.
Okay, so what is that? That's
fantasy,
I think.
Yeah. Okay. And then let's see and then we roll a D100 for the actual number. So let's see. We have 38.
All right, y'all just hold on. I'm gonna scroll through here and find the 38th movie in the fantasy section of Amazon Prime.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so our next our next movie for the next episode is going to be the 1977 film The Mighty Peking Man.
The Whatting Man?
King Kong goes Hong Kong as a giant Himalayan beast tries to save a sexy Russia Tarzanette from a sleazy showbiz promoter. The action, location set in India, and interracial romance made Variety reach this verdict: high camp, Chinese style. For more, word of a month.
Freak is this crap?
Word of a monster.
Rolls.
Word of a monster ape, 10 stories tall, living in the Himalayas, reaches fortune hunters in Hong Kong. They travel to India to capture it, but wild animals and quicksand dissuade all but Johnny, an adventurer with a broken heart. He finds the monster and discovers it's been raising a scantily clad woman, Samantha, since she survived a plane crash years before that killed her parents. In the idyllic jungle, Johnny and Samantha fall in love. Then Johnny asks her to convince Utam, I guess that's the monkey, to go to Hong Kong. Lieutenant, is that like Lieutenant Dan? An unscrupulous promoter takes over. Utam is in chains for freak show exhibitions. When Lieutenant assaults Samantha, Utam's protective instincts take over. Havoc in Hong Kong. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a train wreck.
This is going to be either really... okay.
This could be Gora bad good. This could be Gora bad good. So
those of you who don't know about Gora, it's a movie. It was literally the
Turkish sci-fi movie.
When we first started this podcast, it was literally the very first movie we ever watched for for this segment on the very first episode, and we freaking loved it.
And
it made fun of every single sci-fi movie in that area.
Yeah. Star Trek, Star Wars, everything.
Matrix, Star Wars, and Star Trek. It made fun of all of that.
Yeah.
And all while in Turkish, and with horrible jokes and even more horrible dialogue, but it was friggin' funny.
And Turkish gangster rap in the closing credits.
Can't
forget that. Turkish gangster rap. Anyway, so if you want to see a really, really, really bad movie that's so bad it's good, you need to go see Gora.
It's on Netflix.
It's one of our. A lot of the ones we've seen since are just bad.
Yeah, bad.
But this one has the makings of being another bad good movie.
Another best of the worst.
Yeah. So anyway, that's all we got for this episode, guys. I
really
think we made it through. This is going to be weird because we haven't done this whole streaming as we podcast, because usually we just do the audio podcast and we record it and we can stop and we can re-record and everything. This is completely live. Yep. So we're just fumbling through it. So sorry about that. But I think
we're doing pretty good.
If you stop by next time, we'll be typically recording on Monday nights. Last night we had some major things happen, and it kind of pushed us right to today.
Yeah.
But typically we'll be streaming on the podcast on Monday evenings. We'll also be streaming a bunch of gaming on Friday evenings. Try to do it starting at 8 with he and I doing it, and then from 10 to midnight I'm kind of gaming with some of my other friends, but I'll be streaming all of it.
Yeah.
So that's all we've got. So I appreciate you guys watching and listening, and stay tuned for the next episode. If you need to reach us though before next time, we're not hard to find. You can find the podcast itself on Twitter at GP Variety Hour. I can be found at Headgamer on Twitter, at Headgamer on Mixer, and Head_Gamer on Twitch. And you can be found where?
I can be found basically anywhere where nerds can be found.
The comic store?
If LaGrange had one, yes.
A D&D convention? Dragon Con?
Again, if any of that stuff was
the
in
bleachers
LaGrange,
at a basketball game?
That no. Never that no.
The bleachers, I mean, you wouldn't be on the court, you'd be in the bleachers.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, right.
Yes, I would never go to a basketball game. Anyway, you can find me on
the marching band,
on Twitter, Twitch, Mixer, TikTok, all as QuillMiester, capital Q, capital M, and with an IE instead of EI. So if you spell it wrong, you spell it right. That's my freaking slogan right there.
Yeah, and look, and you can find us. You can find us anywhere. You can find your podcast. You can find them on Spotify, iTunes, it's Apple Podcasts now.
Apple Podcast.
Podbean is where we're hosting this thing. So pretty much anywhere you can find your podcast, you can find us. Just search for Gene Pool Variety Hour, all right? And please leave us a review. And a lot of people ask for, hey, give us a 5-star review. Of course, that would be great.
We're desperate,
but really, we just want to get better.
Kind of validation.
And so, if you have some constructive criticism, we'll take that too. Anyway, hope to hear from you guys soon. And
we hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, we do hope to hear from anybody, because there seems to be an echo in the chat room. It's pretty.
Hello.
So anyway, that's all we've got, and so we'll see you guys next time on the Gene Pool Variety Hour.
And remember, stay nerdy, my friends. See ya.
Bye, guys. So we're gonna dance. You dance, I'll drink. He has no shame.
No way you don't.
None.
I have
whatsoever.
Zero shame.
You gonna finish dancing? Okay. Bye, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Peace
Bye.
out.